Let me know when we live. OSG's in
we're
the building.
live.
First day. First day. It's your birthday. Queen Lioness, it's your birthday. Rawr! Woo! I'm so amped about today. No, over here, Mo, help me. Mo. This one. Come on, brother. No, not the green. The other way around. Please help me out. Thank you. Not the green, Mo. The other.
Okay, you almost got it together, Unc.
I'm
we
almost
see
there.
the folks are coming in the den. They're coming
They're
in
coming
the
in the den. Are we here now? Ladies and gentlemen.
Coming in the den.
From Brooklyn to Baldwin, my sister, the Queen Lioness herself. I want to welcome y'all to the Lion's Den, and I want to introduce to y'all the Queen, Simone Nicholas A. Simone A. Nicholas. Thank you, Queen. You are in the building. Woo!
Okay, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening to everyone that has rolled into the Pride on behalf of OSG. That is our Off School Grounds Incorporated. I welcome you to the Lion's Den. First, I want to give the shout out to the visionary, or easy breezy steezy, Dennis McKeezy, in conjunction with my little brother from another mother, also known as Dame Dash, also known as Dusko Poppington. Just know this is an OSG production.
Yes, it is.
As my uncle said, I am Simone A. Nicholas, that one, that queen, better known to OSG as what? The Lioness. So, of course, I do this as well as any day, at first giving honor to God, for whom all praises are due, as well as honoring the ancestral and present queens and queens in training in my life, because I represent as the granddaughter of Gretchen and Ruth, the daughter and bonus daughter of Andrea and Rashida, the bonus mother of Sanaya, and the auntie queen to Nicole, Jasmine, Jade, Aaliyah, Naraya, and Hannah. Welcome to the Lion's Den. We made it, Laze. We made it.
We're here, Queen. It's an honor to be here with you, first of all. And I tell you, God is so good, because it was just telling us that you wanted that vehicle that fit for you. And I think this is the one, man. From the first day, because let me tell you something. The Queen got at me, which is how the whole Lioness came out. You know, because I was, I'm being Laze. We on the virtual delays and all that. So I'm running my mouth. And the Queen was like, okay, she is the Lioness. We're going to shut up.
No. So, yes, we did have a very eventful and exciting conversation in the beginning.
Yes, we did. And you know what? It's all love now. And I honor and I love you. And I think that you are absolutely the queen that you need to be, and trust me, the people are waiting for you, Queen. So I'm gonna give you the floor, and I'm gonna sit back here as the male lion. And if you got beef, I got your back, and I got a whole team behind me. OSG's in the building.
I do see my OSG over here in the comments. So yes, I'm giving the daggone shout outs to the OSG family. I see you, Fia Davis, who's kind of double dipping right now. I know she's in school, but we ain't gonna tell nobody. All right, go ahead, almost Dr. Davis. But I also see Dr. Riley. I see you, my fellow Lioness, because we do come in here to hold it down. Rah, rah. I do also see April. That's my road dog from 1970, blah, blah, blah. That's how far we go back. Because again, you said from Brooklyn to Baldwin. No matter where I lay my head, Brooklyn is my home. Brooklyn is my heart. Brooklyn is my birth. So absolutely. And then I also see the husband and wife team, one of which I went to college with, another to which also grew up in the neighborhood, the Bob family. You need some excellent services for real estate, that's who you hit up, and you can always count on me in order to get you that information. So as we mentioned, this is the Lion's Den. So since this is the place to be, the place where we celebrate, acknowledge, uplift, and unconditionally love Black women, Black culture, Black allies, Black thing, not everything, thing.
Everything.
Because you got to put the into it, right? Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. So,
yeah, Brownsville.
We're excited that you joined us to our premiere episode, that debut. Yes. So
you know what I'm mad about, Queen? You know what I'm mad about? And I'm sorry to step in because when I do my Zoom, I have my background game is crazy. I can't get my backgrounds working on this, man.
That's what you get because this is what happens on the debut. The debut.
Are we on the debut?
We're on the debut. Right.
Shit.
Yes. Right. So look what's going on in these comments. My family is showing up. I gotta shout out the matriarch of the McIntosh clan. She is a survivor from lung cancer and a survivor from COVID. That is my aunt, Lauren Frenchie McIntosh. I love you, Aunt Lori.
Salute.
All right. We love you, Aunt Lori. We love you. Also got to shout out my organizations because I see BU in here, Black Edufluences United. So yes, oh my goodness, I got judges in here too. What is going on for the debut?
They love you, Queen. They love you. They love you, Queen.
Oh, I love my queens and my queens in training and all of my folks. I am so honored to be here. So, you can tell the story about how I kept saying no.
Yo.
No.
Let me just say this because we do something. Our OSG family, we are truly a family, and we do a lot of great things. And so in our meetings, we always think about vehicles and ways that we can show the greatness of all these different principles. Because principles, we are in the business of children, and principles are the principles of the business of children. You understand what I'm saying? So when we were talking about getting Queen to do something, and Queen was like, "No,
No, I believe in staying
everything was no. Everything was no. But you know what? She finally said yes. We got down on our knees and we was like, Queen, could you please? Me, Damon, and Easy Breezy. We was like, Queen, could you please give us some love? The people want to see you, Queen. And she finally said yes. Thank you, Queen. Thank you, Queen.
The best part is that while you, Unc, as well as Dennis, as well as Pop is who I call Dame, decided to bless my son in having that entrepreneurial conversation on his 21st birthday. Oh my God, I have a 21-year-old. Yes, on his 21st birthday. That is what birthed the Lion's Den. So it's almost like now he's walking into his next chapter and season so that now this new baby, this new piece and chapter of motherhood that I have can come to existence today. And that was just 3 days ago. A lot can happen in 3 days, right?
Oh yeah, a whole lot can happen.
A lot can happen in 3 days. Let's talk about the resurrection. A lot can happen in 3 days.
A lot can happen in 3 days. And let me just say that this is all ordained by God because everything that we've done with OSG we never plan it. We always say this is what we're going to do, and then the next day we do it. Before we get going, I want to say shout out to Dr. Riley first out. I want to say shout out to Malik Smalls. I want to say shout out to my man Akbar Cook. I want to say shout out to Easy Breezy Dennis McKeezy, the visionary extraordinaire.
The visionary. Excuse me, and don't forget about Boss Lady.
Oh, I was about to go there.
Let's get it right.
Boss Lady Denise McKeezy.
He may be the head, but Boss Lady D is absolutely the neck because she makes it happen. Say something.
Like I said, shout out to my ex-girlfriend Kamala Harris. I just want to say, y'all women gonna straighten this whole thing out for us. I mean, we give it up to honor to you guys. You guys work it out. So, Queen, I'm not even gonna say too much. I'm gonna sit back in my little corner right here, and you tell me when you need me. I'm gonna be right here. You go ahead. You do your show.
Listen, this is what we do. So again, I'm just so grateful that everybody made it, and they don't want to hear us talk the entire night because we do have topics. So today is about Black women and the vote. Black women and the vote.
The vote.
So let's just think about it. It's so much because we had a very blended, challenged fight for the vote, for our right to vote. So as people, we had to fight for the right to vote. So historically, 3/5 of a man, so that didn't include women. Historically, there were pieces and positions for men that didn't include women, and it
Right.
daggone sure didn't include Black women.
Right. Right.
Then we come into the rise of the 20th century and many organizations that were founded, and how we have historically Black lettered fraternities and sororities. And then we still didn't have the right to vote as women. Then came 1920, August to be specific, 1920, with the 19th Amendment. So you would think that, yes, women, right to vote, but let's remember, that was not always about Black women.
Right.
So we were in a race and a fight, not just for our gender, but our race within our gender.
Right.
So it wasn't just about the ballot. It was about what the ballot meant inherently for Black women, because there was a part for us to play politically.
Right.
There's a part for us to play economically.
Right.
Of course, social justice and education. But, basically, it's almost like we were left out. So while everybody else was moving and shaking and grooving, we still really were waiting for our right. So let's not think that it was all even Steven as of August of 1920, because we then still were under racism, and then systemic racism. And then people still till yesterday messing with ballots, finding ballots in garbage cans.
Right. Wow.
All of a sudden, 4 years ago, and the 4 years before that, and the 4 years before that, in all of the disenfranchised neighborhoods, now our voting ballot boxes don't work.
So, Queen, I was doing some research, and I was reading up on it, and it showed that they were saying that African American women are the most powerful voting bloc in the Democratic Party. So, despite all of the things that we had to endure,
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Yeah. African American women.
For everybody in the back.
Yes, Queen. For people in the back, African American women are the most powerful voting bloc in the Democratic Party. You understand? Like, if y'all don't go, we don't go. You understand?
Shut it down.
You guys have the ability to shut it down. That's why I think
shut it down.
It's just it's y'all time.
Shut it down or make it happen.
Make it happen. You can make it happen. You can shut it down. And I think in this society, because our Black men we are under siege. It's toxic. Black men have been under siege. And I think it's important that it's time for you guys to come in, you Lioness, to come in and pull us out, so that we can come and be the kings that we need to be for you guys. And I speak for Black men. I know it's the struggle that we have as Black African American men in this country. The system is on us early. They're on us early. And then once we get through, and they're planning to put us into prison or into Potter's Field. All right. So the bottom line is, I think it's important that we know that you have power behind you, even if you Black women, African American women, can go out in the front. Just know that we behind y'all. That's why you see how we got the lionesses up there, how the female lioness is up front. But just know we got that king behind her, letting her know that you go out there and do what you got to do. We got your back. And I think it's important that we need that now. I think that's one of the most. Hey, do we have any guests tonight there, Queen? I know we got
and we do, but don't spoil it yet. Don't spoil it yet. Okay. All right, now I know you hype.
I am excited.
I know you got my back, but my sisters got my sides. Let's be clear, because we walk together. Hey, queens. And of course, talking about sisters, I have sisters by blood. I see my sister Nzinga here. I know my sister Valerie is with me here. I have my sisters by choice and by chance. I have my sisters in Christ. And I'm just excited that we are all able to walk side by side and do this work together. So because now we're talking about how important we are within the demographic, whether it's democratic or not, because not all of us are into one particular Democratic Party, because we vote based on the policies of what is in the best interest for us as Black women, or rather we should. So let's just kind of revisit some of the past sisters who have paved the way for us. So can we roll the video? So here's 6 Black women who were on the front lines of African American activism, specifically in gaining the right to vote for Black women. So, of course, we have Ida B. Wells. She battled sexism, racism, violence. She was a skilled worker, a journalist born into slavery, and her parents instilled in her the importance of education, while she also confronted white suffragists who didn't want to have her back. One of my heroes, Mary McLeod Bethune, shout out to the National Council of Negro Women, to which she founded, and I am a lifelong member as well as the president of the Long Island West County chapter. But she absolutely was at the forefront. We also have Mary Church Terrell. She was active in the anti-lynching movement. She also championed racial equality and suffrage, and she used this position again to fight racial discrimination, and also founded the National Association of Colored Women. Haley Quinn Brown, who was a professor at another HBCU, Wilberforce University. She became an activist for women's equality, a noted speaker and writer. She published a collection of 60 essays telling the stories of 60 African American women. Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, who was one of the first African American women to publish a novel. She advocated for voting rights for all, including us. And according to the National Park Service, she was one of the founders of the American Women's Suffrage Association. Let's talk about the truth. The truth. A former slave, traveled the country as an advocate for the anti-slavery movement and later for women's rights. But she did die before we gained our right to vote. However, we pay homage to Sister Leader Truth for everything that she did for us. So as I mentioned, we're celebrating the 100th anniversaries. But as you mentioned, Unc, we played a pivotal role in the suffrage movement with the right to vote.
Yes, you did, sister. Yes, you did. And let me just say, I want you to talk a little bit about your history in the movement, because you are a very powerful figure in this movement as well. And we salute all of those women, those 6 Black women that really sort of set the trend for what we are supposed to be as Black people in this country, fighting for our freedoms and our rights and our abilities. I want you to talk a little bit about yourself, because sometimes you don't want to talk about yourself, but you are.
I don't. No, you're correct.
Yeah.
So,
but you have to. I'm here now. You got to talk.
I am the gregarious yet humble daughter of Andrea and the late Henry McIntosh Jr., who met while they were giving out food to the homeless in 1970 when they had graduated high school. And my mother gave up her full scholarship to Oberlin College because I was born 9 months later. So that piece of history alone, and shout out to mommy, because she is who was very integral in who I am as a woman today, and who my sister is as a woman today, and who my niece will be as a woman tomorrow. And that's all because of my grandmother, who immigrated from Guyana in South America, shout out to the Caribbean massive, to sacrifice everything to ensure that her 4 generations of queens would be able to sit, live, and thrive as beautiful, proud Black women.
Shout out to
so that's a piece of me, because we have more episodes and I can give you a little bit more later on. We got to have more footage.
We got plenty of time. We're going to walk down this hill, Queen. We ain't going to run down. We're going to walk down.
Let me also remind you of some other people in the struggle for the Black women's right to vote. We have Mary Church Terrell, Fannie Lou Hamer. We also have Shirley Chisholm. Now, I gotta mention Shirley. You know why? Shout out to Brooklyn. If you're from Brooklyn, just wave your hand. Yeah, wave your hand, Brooklyn. Wave your hand, Brooklyn.
I'm waving.
Wave your hand, Brooklyn. Yes, because Shirley Chisholm was the first African woman in Congress, the first woman and African American to seek the nomination for president of the United States. Because I know we talk about Sister Leader Kamala, but let's remember Shirley. And she was born in Brooklyn. And I just learned this recently. I had no idea that Shirley Chisholm's mother was from Guyana. I'm done. I'm done. So yes, I see, you know, the members of her sorority organization are going bananas right now in the chat. Yes. And she was also a member of my organization, the National Council of Negro Women. So let's now move on to Kamala. Of course, she does represent our hope as the Democratic vice presidential nominee, as well as an HBCU grad, as well as a member of a historically Black sorority who was also on the front lines, trying to ensure that Black women had the right to vote. So,
hey Queen, can I say something between me and you? And this is just only for me, you, and the people in the room. Yeah,
don't tell in the room. Don't tell.
You know she's gonna be president, right?
Listen. I don't know if she's gonna be president, but I know she's gonna be, because she got her sisters and me. Let's talk about it. All right. So Unc said don't talk about it, but we're gonna shout it. We're gonna shout it. Because you know why? You know why we gotta shout it? Because seldom do well-behaved women make history. Rawr. Got it. So let's talk about the vote, and let me talk about my sister. So I want to introduce our special guest for this week, who will always be introduced right at the moment. So you have to visit the Lion's Den each week in order to find out who the special guests are.
So are we bringing in another lioness?
We are bringing in another lioness. And so let me give you some facts about my sister lioness.
Ooh,
coming all the way from money earning Mount Vernon. Not only is she a change agent, not only is she the first woman elected mayor of Mount Vernon, she is the first Black woman elected and the first ever elected in the history of Westchester County.
Come on, sis.
Say something. Now, I saw that her favorite African proverb is, when spider webs unite, we can tie up a lion. But she didn't say nothing about a lioness. So welcome to the Lion's Den, my sister lioness leader, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. Yes.
How are you doing, sis?
Yes, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. Welcome to the Lion's Den. We are honored to have you as our premier guest this evening. First, I want to just salute, tip my hat, and send all the love and blessings your way just for representing us.
Love you, Sister Mayor. Love you, Sister Mayor.
Yes.
Love you, Laze. Shout out to OSG in the house.
Yes.
Yes. And so, Mayor Sean Patterson Howard. Yes. I apologize, but I just want to ensure that I introduced you well. I tried my best, but I also want to give you the platform to really discuss. I mean, I don't think people realize the major victory and the message and everything that comes with you stepping into this season of your life and what the impact will be for the people in Mount Vernon and Westchester County in general. So talk about yourself, sis. Shine.
I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about yourself, but look, I'm born and raised here in Mount Vernon. I've worked for 30 years in human services. I started out as a social worker. I went to Howard University School of Social Work. Shout out, I'm a bison. I came back to New York and I worked in HIV/AIDS. In Elmsford, and I came back to the city of Mount Vernon and became the director of AIDS services. We did a lot of housing programs and mental health and substance abuse programs, and that led me to go work for the city court here in Mount Vernon, where we started the first drug court in the 9th Judicial District. So that's everything from Westchester up to Albany. And that was a good alternative to incarceration program for nonviolent substance use offenders. Then I went on to the YMCA and became the executive director of the Y in Mount Vernon, and then the CEO of the YMCA of Yonkers. And that was the third African-American woman in the history of the YMCA nationally since 1865 to become a CEO nationally. So we've been blazing trails, and now I'm here as mayor of the city of Mount Vernon. As you said, the first elected woman and the first Black woman elected as mayor in the county of Westchester, and the first woman elected to a major city in the county of Westchester. We have other women who are mayors, but they're of towns and villages. So I'm the first woman, Black or white, elected as a mayor of a major city here in the county of Westchester.
Sister Mayor, I have a question. Before I sit back in the corner and let you powerful women do your thing, I got one question I have for you. I've been wanting to ask you this all the time you've been coming on OSG. I just want to know what is in the water in Howard University, because a lot of powerful sisters.
Oh God.
Look, so I'm always going to rep Howard because that's my foundation. But it's also part of the HBCU family. So HBCUs are a special place where we go and we're nurtured. Not only are we nurtured, but we're empowered. We get our credentials, we build our character, but then we also work on our confidence. And so that's very important, because you can go to other places and get credentials and develop skills, but you don't necessarily have an opportunity to work on your confidence. And so our teachers, while you might have a lot of African-American or teachers who are part of the diaspora at Howard and at other HBCUs, they don't give it to you easy. They tell you, they're not giving you any tea for your fever, as my girlfriend Maria says. They don't want to hear you whining. They don't want to hear you crying. They don't want to hear how unfair it is because you're a woman, or how people are against you because you're Black, because they are that. And they've been in that experience. And so they're going to tell you, you have to work twice as hard to get half as far. So don't come in here talking to me about your homework and why you couldn't do this and why I should give you this. You're going to earn everything, and you may not get all that you earn, because that's what life is. And so I think there is just a character building and a confidence building and an understanding when you go to an HBCU, that you have a responsibility, that once you have a privilege of attending an HBCU and getting all that we get poured into us, when you come out, it's time for you to grind, and it's time for you to give it up in your community and make a difference. It's not about impressing people. It's about making impact, because that is what our community needs. And that is what we are trained and taught and unleashed to do.
Powerful. By the way, my son, every time you come on during the OSG, and I'm gonna say, my son who's 7 years old, he goes, "Daddy, who's that?" I said, "That's your aunt."
Hey, come on,
John Patterson.
I'm all with it. I'm auntie. I'm down for the auntie love.
Yes. So Mayor Patterson, Howard, talk about again Black women in the vote, because your sorors are lighting the chat up because they see the shield behind you. So perhaps maybe you can discuss some of the platforms that you have participated in, as well as the history of the organization and what that meant about Black women in the vote.
So, Delta Sigma Theta, and people know that we were originally part of Alpha Kappa Alpha, AKAs. But the Deltas at Howard University, there were a group of AKAs that decided they wanted to be more socially involved, in a justice way. They didn't want to be a social organization. They wanted to make a difference in the community. And so we had our 22 founders were AKAs. They broke off, they developed Delta Sigma Theta. And what I think is incredible is their first act of community service, their first launching into the community was to participate in the Women's Suffrage March in Washington, D.C. in 1913. And so Deltas, from the very onset of our existence, have been about social action, have been about justice, have been about voting rights, have been about women's empowerment through the vote, through economics, through education, and whatever venue and dance floor we step onto, it is is about leadership. And so that's who we were born and bred to be as an organization. And that is who we continue to be until this day. And so I am definitely proud to be a Delta. The accomplishments of Deltas and the accomplishments of the Divine Nine, the D9 period. We laugh and we joke amongst one another, and we rep our sororities and fraternities. But at the end of the day, just like I said, I rep Howard University and I rep Delta, I rep HBCUs and I rep D9, because collectively we are a force to be reckoned with like no one else's business.
Tell it to the people, to the haters in the back. Yes, thank you. So, the other piece that I wanted you to mention, honestly, is how that all ties into today. So we have organizations. You're a member of Delta Sigma Theta. I'm a member of both the National Council of Negro Women, founder Mary McLeod Bethune, President Emeritus is Dorothy Irene Height, and currently president is Dr. Janetta Betch-Cole. I'm also a member of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. And there are very similar platforms, very similar pieces of advocacy, specifically with NCNW, that was founded as an organization of organizations to bring together over 30 affiliate organizations, to which every platform talks about social justice, advocacy for Black women, and the vote. So while we do have the members, the sorority members of the Divine Nine, there's also the Continental Societies, there's also the Links, there's also Chums, there's also National Black Nurses. There's so many different
There's a multitude of powerful organizations, whether they're civic, whether they're professional organizations, whether they're community-based organizations. There are so many opportunities for us as women, Black men to be involved, where we find our voice, where we're able to amplify our voice, where we're able to come together. And the reason why I love the proverb, the African proverb, when spider webs unite, you can tie up a lion, is because many of us individually feel insufficient. We oftentimes feel that our voices are not loud enough. And sometimes even in our individual organizations, we understand that we cannot do it all on our own. But that's why I said when spider webs unite, regardless of how fragile a web is, when you come together, it can tie up a lion. It can tie up a lion of poverty. It can tie up a lion of racial injustice, inequity, police brutality, poverty, lack of education. We know that education is the great equalizer. And so we have to always push forward, and we can't do it alone. And that's the one thing we always talk about, crabs in the barrel. So for me, it's never about a competition between D9s, HBCUs, civic organizations, any organization that I'm a part of. I think the greatest asset and the best thing that I've ever brought to my community career and my professional career is my desire and my willingness to partner, to collaborate, to join together, to build our collective resources. When we're able to harness our collective energies, our collective resources, our collective strengths, then there is nothing at all that we cannot do. But it is about harnessing the power of our connection and our power, our pain, and our passion, so that we can make a difference. We have to progress, and we can't sit back looking side-eye at each other. Oh, you went here, you went there, you're part of this organization. Oh, I'm from the north, the south, the east, the west. We constantly find really dumb
ways to sister shame. Ways to sister shame. Like, we got to shut that down.
You got to shut it down, because at the end of the day, we are all beautiful Black women. We are strong Black women. We are proud Black women. And we are women who are tired of wearing a mask of pain and shame and strength. And so how do we sit there? How do we come together? And how do we work and link up so that we can make a difference in our community? And so, right now, yes, we know that Black women are the most powerful voting bloc in the Democratic, community and the Democratic Party. And we've been holding it down for a long time. And I'm not saying this right now, so please, I'm not a black man hater. My husband is a black man. We've been
Let's
married.
talk about it. I'm the mother of a black man. Let's shout out to Stafford Nicholas Jr., honey. Yes. Come on.
I
keep telling him I got his last name trending. Anyway, yes, back to our show.
Marvin and I got married sophomore year at Howard University, and we've been married for, it'll be 33 years in February. But this is what I have to say. We need our black men to come out to this election. The black women, we're going to do our job. We're going to hold it down. We're going to push. But we need for our brothers to show up at the polls in record numbers. They are relying on you to stay home. They are relying on you to hate Kamala because she got a white husband. They are relying on you to hate on her because she was a district attorney and she put people in jail who had committed crimes. They are relying on you to see her as not perfect and to stay at home. And one of the things, I have some Republican friends and associates, and what we say is Republicans fall in line, Democrats want to fall in love. Republicans know how to fall in line. You are never going to find a perfect candidate. You can't even find a perfect mate. The person who you sleep next to every night is not perfect. They get on your nerves. That doesn't mean that you don't stay with them. No one is ever going to be a perfect candidate because we are a homogenous people. We are a diverse people. So we can never find one person that is going to meet every need. But what we do need to know, because Trump, he passed now the police departments and federal agencies and people who get federal money, they can't teach about diversity and inclusion. They can't teach about implicit bias. Now he's saying that HBCUs can't get federal money. There's nothing about this man that is for our best interest. We can dance and sing and coon and talk about making America great again and all of that stuff. And if you're offended by me saying cooning, because sometimes we have people who are cooning. So be mad, whatever. I could care less.
That's right.
I say stuff that I'm not supposed to say all the time. So
that's right.
Recorded, blasted out. But we can't do that. I'm not sitting here shimmying and shaking for the Democrats, but I know that they're going to give me more of what I need. I know that my voice and my impact and my influence is going to be able to influence them more than anything. You know why? Because they need us. So they will hear our voices. Now, the Republicans don't necessarily need us to get elected, but they do want us just to put a dagger. They want to put a dagger. That's what does he say? Oh, look at all the blacks. I've done more for the blacks.
Either a dagger or grinding up glass in the food because that's a slow death. Because
that's what he says. He says, I've done more for the blacks than any president.
The blacks.
Abraham Lincoln. The blacks.
The blacks.
How culturally incompetent can you be? How arrogant? Really?
Since Lincoln. Like there were not thousands and hundreds of thousands of souls, whether they were famous or not, that did something to support us sitting here today. And that's why I mentioned in the beginning, shout out to the ancestral as well as present queens and queens in training that made today possible for us to be here.
That's right. We had my grandmother, she moved up to New York from Blackstone, Virginia. About 9 of her siblings followed her up this way, and many of them living throughout Westchester County. But she was a strong woman who imparted so many incredible lessons in us. My mother, strong woman. My mother's not college educated, but my God, she's a polio survivor and a cancer survivor, and she's living with MS and kidney disease. And I've learned more from my mother through the truth of her struggle and her pain than I could ever learn from somebody who just has a lot of credentials. My mother is resilient. My mother is strong. And my mother really just taught me how to push through all types of adversities, because that's what we have to do as Black women. We have to push through adversity because at the end of the day, we got to make it happen. We don't get to sit aside and talk about our pain and our shame, because we have to take care of our babies. We have to be there for our men. We have to take care of our communities. We have to hold it down.
We got to hold it down.
Hold it down.
We can either shut it down or make it happen.
That's it.
Write it down or make it happen.
And
Mayor Patterson, you are holding it down, and Queen, you are holding it down too. It's such an honor to be here, to be a fly on this wall. You know, it's so much talk about flies lately. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
shout out to the fly. The flies that started the show. The fly has an agent.
Yeah.
The fly has an agent. Oh my goodness. I mean,
I'm the fly today, and I'm watching and I'm listening to the greatness of the mayor and the greatness of the Queen Lioness. And, you know, and I just want to tell you, man, it's just such an honor for both of you guys, because the jewels that you're dropping, the text and the chat room, they are going bananas for you, man. I don't even understand. How are we going to copy this show next week, Queen?
They got to tune in. That's what you can see.
But this is organic. This is organic.
We can write this script. This is what happens when sister lionesses come together.
We on the prowl.
That's right.
Rolling with the pride.
So I know you're going to ask the question, Queen Lioness, but I want to ask the mayor a question. We are dealing with a lot of voter suppression, and I think it's important that we be clear. There's a lot of fake ballot boxes going on. There's a lot of long lines going on. How can we, as a people, and I'm talking to the men out there who sometimes be like, man, I'm giving up. How do we overcome some of the suppression that's sort of that we're dealing with to get this vote out?
Look, we don't have the luxury. Be clear, we don't have the luxury of giving up. And so what we need our men to do other than go vote, we might need you to take a day off from work. And if you're not working right now because you're unemployed or you're an entrepreneur or the COVID's happening, we need you to go and stand at those voting places, pull up with some water, get some folding chairs, make sure that you're out there, especially in our southern states and on the West Coast where it still might be hot, and make sure that you're protecting the community as they go out to vote, because the Proud Boys are going to show up. They're going to show up to intimidate. People are going to show up and they're going to be long lines. I have a lot of family in Virginia and family in Georgia and South Carolina, and those lines are long. And so we just have to plan the day. We have to act like we're going to a cookout and we're going to bring some water. We're going to bring
even Great Adventure, because people don't complain about the lines of Great Adventure. You ain't complaining about the lines of Great Adventure. Or Disney or any plan. This is not a plug for Great Adventure or Disney. If you are able to stand on the lines for a 55-second ride, I don't want to hear anything on November 3rd. Let's be clear.
And we don't have to wait until November 3rd. In so many places right now, early voting is happening. And so you have to take advantage of early voting. You cannot wait till November 3rd, because if we wait until November 3rd, there is no way that everyone who is going out to vote
is going to break down, as I mentioned, in the disenfranchised neighborhoods. Something's going to happen. Somebody may spark a fight. Somebody may put some firecrackers. People are counting on foolishness to happen, but we are going to be determined. So again, if you are able-bodied and of course registered, because the registration period is over, 18 years old, registered, able-bodied, and you choose not to participate in early voting, expect to wait. Dress comfortably, bring a snack, not too much water, because everybody may not hold your line if you got to find a restroom. And exercise your constitutional right to vote for your local, state, and national leaders. # Black Voters Matter.
Black voters. And if you don't vote, don't complain. Don't say nothing. I don't want to hear nothing. If you don't go out to vote, then you do not have the right to complain. Shut up. Just shut up. It was a choice that you made.
Right.
When you make that choice, you do not have the right to complain. You can't talk about, I didn't think it was going to be like this. I promise you that a second Trump term will make this look like Boo Boo Kitty. You know what I'm saying? Because he doesn't have
this was the preparation.
Yes,
he'll be for the ultimate foolishness. Yes,
he'll be empowered. He will have the Supreme Court and the district courts and the state courts so locked down.
And
that we will feel like we are. People talking about, oh, I couldn't have lived in the 60s because if they would have came to me with some dogs in the 60s, well, baby, if you don't go out and vote, you need to prepare to feel like you're living in the 60s. Because if you've seen the tearing away of our civil rights, of our human rights, whether you're black or white, but especially when you're brown in his first term, let him get in here there for a second term.
Let him get a second term, because he cannot have a third term. So during the second term, he's going to show all the way out.
All the way
out. And that will have a domino effect. So absolutely. We have people here, messing with baby protesters. We got babies out here looking like us protesting in the streets, where people are getting in their cars to try to mow them down like the lawn. Mm-hmm. So if they're doing this today, yes. And there's another term.
They're catching felonies. We have our young people out here marching on the front lines, and they are being arrested and they are getting felonies, which will impact them going forward for the rest of their life. So we have to make sure that we have the right people in there.
Right, not only on the national level, as I mentioned,
on the local level too.
We have judges who are in the chat. We have judges who are watching us both on Facebook Live as well as what other platforms where we YouTube. Somebody's probably showing this on their Instagram Live, because I know Pop is good for being on IG Live all the time.
All the time. Shout out to Pop.
He always good for something. Where Pop at? I know Pop around here somewhere. Pop, show up. Pop up, Pop.
Is he in the background?
He's in the back.
He is. Yeah. Wait, but we can't see you, Pop.
You got too much light behind you.
Turn around the other direction, Pop, because the light behind you can't really see.
Do it all here.
What up, do it all. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, hi.
How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother.
Good to see you.
Hey,
how you doing?
I'm good.
All right, everybody. If you don't know, now you know. I just also want to, bring to you, we couldn't make this happen, and thank you very much, Dusko Poppington, otherwise known as my little brother from another mother that I gotta keep. Sometimes feel like I want to smother, but that's my boo. Dame Dash. Thank you, Dapper Dame, for making it here, for ensuring that we have this platform within the Lion's Den. So I'm sure you probably got a lot to say, but we only got a few minutes left.
Well, first and foremost, it's an honor to be on your first show, your first project. It's always an honor to be with the Mayor Patterson. It's always an honor to be with the legend Laze. I'm really happy that you started this, and I already know what you're going to do, And, again, I wasn't here for the whole show, so I know what the topic is. So if y'all ask me a question.
Black women and the vote.
Oh, Black women and the vote. Well, yeah, definitely. First off, everybody's vote counts. But definitely it makes sense logically for a Black woman, being a woman and being Black. It's like that's the double fight right there. To me, this man's world doesn't work. It's all a lie. Women create life. They're the makers of life. That makes them God to me. And I've always wondered why we don't appreciate women in that way. But it makes sense for men to be dumb and pretend there's something they're not. But, and pretend that they're supposed to be God and be the strong ones that can't create nothing. So I would always prefer a woman to be in control. And if a woman can be and take the steering wheel, they should. But I also think it's important that we focus on those swing states like North Carolina and Pennsylvania and Florida, and make white women accountable, because they don't be stepping up. And also understand, especially in Florida, I don't know why, and no disrespect, the Spanish people like that guy Trump, you know what I mean? Which is, I don't understand it. But I do think we got to take Florida and North Carolina. We only down about 2-3%, and 30 Black people represent 30% of the vote out there. So that means that Black people, Black women, Black men can actually make it where a Republican state finally turns into a Democratic state. So that could be a historic narrative. So it's important for us to understand.
Yes, but there's a number of cultures and demographics of how they feel and how they don't feel about a number of politicians, legislators, judges, mayors, etc. So we're not necessarily pigeonholing or calling out one particular place. But what's important right now is that we are ensuring that we gotta step up or shut up. That's November 3rd. That's just the bottom line.
And also knowing that, we should take the election, but it don't mean everything gonna be all right. So we have to know that we have to take control of the narrative. Because I don't care who the president is, I'm gonna get some money. Ain't nothing stopping me from me eating or my family. I don't care who the president is. You know, I don't care if it's a recession, I'm gonna still get money. You know, I don't do what everybody else does, but I know what we need to do. It's a new world. The old world is over. Whoever's prepared for the old world is late. So I think this new narrative, the new story that should be told is us coming out on top. You know, we'll make people accountable on the other side. And look, we got Mayor Patterson got to be the governor, or at least the president at some point.
Listen,
I'm saying Governor Game.
and that was going to be my next question.
The real Governor Patterson.
That was going to be my next question. Thank you, Pop.
Hold on.
My thing is, Mayor Sean, sister leader, sister lioness. Once you know your terms, you know if they are term limits, if they expire, what's next?
I mean, look, that is something I definitely have to pray on. I never ever saw myself sitting in this place.
I'm the Game Governor.
Game will tell you I never saw myself sitting here either.
Absolutely. So I have not even finished my first year in this seat. So right now, you know, best preparation for your next job is to do a good job where you are. There's a lot of issues here in Mount Vernon that we need to focus on and turn around. So I'm not necessarily looking at the next. I'm looking at the now and taking care of it. Too many people.
Political answer right there. That's a good, not giving too much away. You know.
No. Honestly.
We only talking to us, just us right now.
So Dane, straight truth. One of my mentees, he's a county legislator. He's like in his mid-30s. He told me a few years ago, he said most people who are elected, the first thing that they're supposed to focus on is serving their constituents. The next thing that they're supposed to focus on is staying in office or their next office. He said, unfortunately, too many elected officials forget the first and only focus on the second. And so for me right now, I'm so focused on the first that if I do the first right, then re-election or the next level is not going to be a big question, but you have to do it the right way first. And so, you know, we'll plan for other stuff, but we got to get this done right. And oftentimes elected officials don't.
You've been doing it right so far. And just logically speaking, if you do everything right, which you have been doing, the trajectory is the next level would be governor.
So I believe it or not, I agree with Pop because honestly, while I understand, you know, and thank you, so to my boo thing, Anisha Jacko Duhaney, she said Jeremiah 29, verse 11, for I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you. So basically, if he is able to provide you with the mayorship in a town, he's absolutely holding you accountable for his souls of the town for when and preparing you for your next level of what's coming. So I'm here to speak on behalf of the lionesses, the queen lionesses, the queens in training and the present queens to say there will be no sister shaming because we will show up and show out to ensure that you are propelled to the next level because God said so. You were anointed and appointed at this time and this moment to hear that. So just receive it.
I receive it. But I have a question. I have a question for our brothers because we're talking about Black women in the vote, and we've already established that Black women are the strongest Democratic voting bloc in the country, that they depend on us. But I also said that we need our Black men to stand up, and I hear so many of them on social media, sister shaming Kamala and saying, well, you know, why should I vote for her? She got a white husband. She put Black men in jail. So my question to you is what is your message to Black men? Because we know the women, we're showing up. So we need you to put something out here to the brothers and motivate them to get out to the polls. So go on, spit your fire.
I call that the barbershop conversation.
I'm a bigger picture guy myself. You know, I don't care about the nickels. I'm about the weight. The mistakes she's made are nickels. Small. But the way she can make up for it is weight. And the narrative of having a black woman as vice president trumps everything. The narrative of
Unintended.
Exactly. The narrative of a young black girl knowing that she can do it because that woman did it. I know what it did for us to see Obama become president. And I would argue with certain black people like, he didn't do this for black people, he didn't do that. You don't understand, when you become president, you're no longer black. You have to be the country. And if you look like you're leaning toward doing something for black people, there's a lot of people waiting to get on your ass. So you have to be strategic about how you help culture, to the extent that the culture doesn't even know. But at the end of the day, I know that when I was in school, I was taught that there could never be a black president from a teacher.
Yes.
So just the fact that I knew that it was possible and that my daughter doesn't know life without a black president. You know, after 4 years go by, everybody forgets what the president did anyway, unless you keep bringing it up. All that matters is the president in the future. But they are going to remember the last great president was black. You had Trump and you had the Bushes before this, and they both killed their legacies. So the Bush name is in the toilet, no disrespect, but it is. And now the Trump name is in the toilet. But the Obama name is looking good.
Yes.
So to what Mayor Patterson was saying about the brothers getting out to the vote, you know, a lot of brothers have issues with criminal records and stuff like that. They're not allowed to vote and all that stuff. But here's what they're doing in a lot of places. There are a lot of line standers that are making these lines longer. A lot of people are standing in line to sort of make the line 7 to 8 hours, and they're not even voting. They're just standing in line to sort of plug up the traffic. So listen, get out. The Republicans are out there protecting that voting station. So if you can't vote, get out there and protect it. The ones that can vote, vote. But the ones that can't vote for whatever their legal reasons are, get your ass out there and protect those lines so that we don't have the issue of people disenfranchising more black people from voting. Okay. And I just wanted to say that and turn that back.
And also real quick, I just think, you know, we're programmed not to think that voting counts. You know, when we're in school, it's not taught. No one teaches you how to pass a law or how to lobby. I think it's intentional to make it look like it's untouchable and to make everything else that we don't need presented to us. But the things and the necessities, I think, are consciously, intentionally. Every kind of dumb thought that we have that's not logical is programming. And we have to not get caught up in the con. Like, you can't be mad at the oppressor for oppressing you. You have to be mad at yourself for letting yourself be oppressed by a nerd.
Yes. So thank you. Thank you, Pop. And thank you, Unc. But of course, I just want to say shout out to my sister Lioness, my sister, my BFF, my boo. Thank you so much for being able to be here with us today and to spend so much time, because, you know, we asked for what you can give and you gave us just nothing but overflow, and that's always God's favor. So I just want to say thank you again, Mayor Sean. We are praying for you. We support you. You know, I'm not a Mount Vernon resident, but I am paying attention to everything that you are absolutely doing to support my fellow human beings and my queens and queens in training in Mount Vernon. And if somebody didn't tell you today, or even if they did tell you today, you are doing a fabulous job, and we appreciate you exactly where you are. And we can't wait to see what's going to happen after the fact, when it's time for you to be elevated, because you were appointed and anointed
today,
this place, in this space, to know that the elevation is coming. So when somebody asks who chose you, you can tell them she ready.
Oh, so good, so good.
So I want to say before we go, congratulations, Linus, congratulations, Laze, congratulations, OSG, on the launch of the Lion's Den. I know great things are going to come. OSG has been a blessing to me, and I look forward to what we're going to do in the future. But I'm glad for this new platform that you have, and please just let us know how we can support you going forward. We are always going to be here in the cut, waiting to make a difference for you.
So thank you so much. It was an honor and a pleasure. Please come through again. You never know.
Man, you home. So you know what it
Yes,
is.
you
Your
never
OSG
know.
is your home. You know what it is.
Yes, you know that. Yes. So at
That's
this
the
time,
Lioness the Lioness Den is now open. Yeah.
Yes.
so yes, I just want to thank everybody for coming through the Lion's Den, where I am that one, that queen, the one they refer to as the Lioness. Shout out to OSG Off School Grounds. I am Simone A. Nicholas. As I mentioned, I am the granddaughter, the mother, the bonus mother, and the auntie to queens and queens in training who made it happen for me. And I want to ensure that I make it happen for you as well. So we just want to say good night. And as we going out, we're going to play the song that represents us every single time. Let's throw that
Before
on.
we go out real quick, we got a senator here too.
Come on, we have a senator here. So that's for the after party. Here we go. That's for the after party. Hey, Senator Melton, how you doing?
Senator Melton, how you doing, Senator?
Senator
Good
Melton.
to see you, Senator.
Mayor, how you doing, Mayor?
Good to see you, sir.
All right.
Blessings.
Much blessings to
Look
you.
at you. We done had 2 special guests. Boom, boom. Look at this dropping them drop.
Bong, 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 bong.
Bong,
Yes,
bong.
yes.
Day one is crazy. It's crazy. Good to see you, Senator Melton.
Yes, yes.
Madison.
So, as
God
we're
bless you,
going out
sister.
again,
Sister Madam Mayor, thank you so much. God bless you, sis. Oh man,
Thank you,
and you
ladies.
know we
Thank
got
you.
your back. I'm telling you, we got the feet to the street. We ain't playing around. Get out there and vote. And if you can't vote, guys, protect. Okay, so we can vote. Okay.
amen, amen. Thank you. So, rolling with the pride. See you next Friday, 6 p.m. Let's take us out on our music, Unc.
Love it, man.